There's a reason most men fail to stand out. It's not because they're ugly, it's not because they're broke, and it sure as hell isn't because they're not good enough. They fail because they believe attraction is about ticking boxes. Saying the right thing, wearing the right clothes, buying the right drink, or memorizing the next line some pickup artist screamed on the internet. That's surface. That's noise. That's weak. What actually makes a woman want someone, want them now, is something most don't talk about. It's not a trick. It's not some sneaky phrase to bypass her defenses. It's not game. It's presence, depth, certainty. It's the energy that fills the space when nothing is said at all. See, attraction doesn't live in what's spoken. It lives in what's felt. Before a single word is exchanged, before the compliments and the flirting, before anything even remotely physical happens, there's a moment, a split second, a silent decision made by instinct, not logic. And in that moment, everything is decided. Most never even make it to that moment. They come off trying too hard, laughing too loud, selling themselves without realizing it. They rush to perform, to prove, to please. And that desperation doesn't invite closeness. It kills desire. The truth, women can smell it. Neediness, insecurity, the energy of a man who seeks approval instead of radiating self-respect. It doesn't matter how charming the words are. If the core is off, if the energy is fractured, she knows. Not consciously, not always with words, but she knows. That's why the ones who get it, the ones who really get it, don't chase. They don't perform. They don't try to impress. They know something deeper. They understand that desire isn't pulled from a woman. It's awakened within her. And only a certain kind of man can do that. Not the loudest, not the richest, not the most aggressive, but the one who knows exactly who he is and who carries that knowledge with quiet certainty. This isn't about arrogance. It's about grounded confidence, the kind that makes a woman feel something before she even understands why. A calm tension, a silent intensity, a sense that this man doesn't need to be liked because he's already chosen himself. That's the real trigger. When a woman feels that kind of energy, everything shifts. Her guard doesn't just drop, it wants to drop. Because now, for the first time, she feels something real. No masks, no posing. Just presence, focused, unapologetic, and clear. And here's the irony most miss. When you stop trying to get her, that's when she starts wanting you. Because you've flipped the script. You've become the one who isn't seeking. You've become the one who chooses, not chases. That shift, subtle as it may seem, changes everything. The men who embody this, they don't wait days to call. They don't overthink every move. They don't try to be liked. They show up with intention, with clarity, with respect for themselves first, and that alone earns her attention more than any compliment or clever line ever could. What makes a woman want someone on the same day isn't about strategy. It's about resonance. She feels something she doesn't often feel. Safety, polarity, presence. And that makes her curious. It makes her drawn. It makes her open because at the end of the day, she isn't looking for a perfect man. She's looking for a man who's real, who's grounded, who makes her feel like she can let go of control. That's the paradox. The more grounded and certain a man becomes, the more a woman naturally wants to give herself to that energy. So forget the gimmicks. Forget the tricks. Forget every lie that says you have to manipulate or pretend. You don't need to be more. You just need to be undeniably you, without fear, without apology, without flinching. That's the brutal truth. And the moment that truth is embodied, not just understood, but lived, everything starts to change. Long before attraction begins, before a word is spoken, before any touch or smile or moment of intimacy, there's something that determines everything. It's not your height, it's not your face, it's not how funny, smart, or smooth you are. It's your presence. Presence is not about being the center of attention. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it doesn't beg to be noticed. Presence is the silent pressure that fills the space around you. It's the feeling people get when you enter a room without saying a word, and yet everyone senses a shift. Most people walk around distracted, scattered, split between thoughts and insecurities, always in their heads, always rehearsing, overthinking, calculating. And that energy, it's chaotic, it's weak. You can feel it the moment someone starts talking too fast, laughing too hard, checking their phone, fidgeting, filling silence because they can't hold it. That's not presence, that's noise. Presence is the opposite. It's stillness. It's focus. It's being fully grounded in the moment, with nothing to prove and nowhere else to be. When you're present, your energy speaks louder than your words ever could. You don't need to explain yourself. You are yourself, fully, unapologetically. And that's magnetic. Women are especially attuned to presence. While many men focus on surface-level things, what to say, how to act, what moves to make, what she's really feeling is the deeper signal, the tension, the stillness, the awareness, the energy that says, I'm here, I see you, and I don't need anything from you. That last part matters more than anything, because when a man is present without need, she feels safe. Not just physically, emotionally, spiritually. She senses a man who isn't trying to take, who isn't trying to prove, who's simply there, fully alive, fully aware, fully grounded. Presence shows up in everything. The way you listen, actually listen. Not waiting for your turn to speak, not scanning for validation, but fully absorbing her words, her tone, her body language, the way your eyes hold contact, not with aggression, but with depth, with clarity, with calm, the way you breathe, the way you stand, the way you speak slowly and deliberately as if each word actually matters. You can't fake that. And when it's real, it changes everything. Because presence doesn't just pull her in, it makes her feel seen, truly seen. In a world where everyone's distracted, a man who can be fully there becomes rare, desired, remembered. He becomes the one who doesn't rush, doesn't chase, doesn't flinch. And what's more attractive than that? Here's what most miss. Presence isn't about confidence in the traditional sense. It's not about puffing your chest or having perfect posture. It's about being relaxed in your body, calm in your energy, undisturbed by silence, rejection, or even chaos. It's about knowing you don't need to perform because you trust who you are, even when she hasn't figured you out yet. A man who has presence doesn't get pulled into the surface-level games. He doesn't respond to pressure. He creates it, not with aggression, but with awareness, with intention, with stillness that makes others lean in rather than pull away. Want to change how women respond to you in a single moment? Master presence. Walk slower, breathe deeper, say less. When everyone else is rushing to impress her, pause. Let the silence stretch. Let the tension build. Let your stillness speak louder than any pickup line ever could, because that's where attraction lives, not in a joke, not in a compliment, not in some overplayed trick. It lives in the energy you carry when you're fully in the moment, with her, with yourself, with everything around you. A woman doesn't remember every word you say, but she'll always remember how you made her feel. And nothing makes her feel more alive, more feminine, more open than being in the presence of a man who is fully, fiercely, and unapologetically grounded. That's presence. That's power. And when you own it, she feels it. There's something most people don't understand about attraction. It's not built on perfection, performance, or persuasion. It's built on certainty, not bravado, not arrogance, not pretending to know things you don't. Real certainty, the quiet, unshakable kind. The kind that lives in your body, not your words, because when you're uncertain, she feels it. It leaks into every word, every hesitation, every question you ask that sounds more like a request for validation than genuine curiosity. It shows up in the way you pause too long before making a move, the way you soften your tone just enough to avoid rejection, the way you subtly look to her for permission instead of leading with clarity. And when that happens, when a woman senses that you don't fully trust yourself, her attraction dies before it ever has a chance to grow. But when you're certain, everything shifts. Certainty doesn't mean you have all the answers. It means you trust yourself to move forward even when you don't. It means your decisions aren't up for negotiation. You say what you mean. You own what you feel. You know what you want. That kind of energy is rare, and women are drawn to it instinctively. Why? Because certainty is security, emotional security, mental clarity, direction. And that creates something most men never offer, relief. It gives her space to relax, to surrender, to feel safe being in her feminine because she senses you won't fold at the first sign of challenge or conflict. It's not about dominance. It's about direction. A man who walks into a room and knows what he's about doesn't need approval. He isn't chasing validation. He isn't adapting to every mood or trying to avoid making waves. He's grounded in his truth. And that stillness is what pulls her in. Certainty shows up in how you handle decisions, whether it's choosing where to go, how to lead a conversation, or when to move closer. It's in the way you trust your own instincts, even when things feel uncertain or unscripted. especially then, because she doesn't want a perfect man. She wants a man who moves, a man who leads, a man who chooses. Indecision is where desire goes to die. Too many men ask, what should I do? Is this okay? Do you think she'll like this? And in that question, no matter how subtle it seems, is a signal, I don't trust myself. I need you to decide for me. That's not attractive. That's a burden. No woman wants to carry the weight of leading the emotional dynamic. She wants to respond, to be swept into your world, your energy, your direction. Not because you're controlling, but because you're clear. And clarity is intoxicating. Even when you're wrong, certainty still wins. Because action, even imperfect, creates momentum. It shows presence. It signals confidence. It tells her, this is a man who moves forward. This is a man who isn't afraid of his own power, and that's the kind of man she can feel. So stop hiding behind indecision. Stop asking for signs. Stop waiting for some mythical green light to tell you when it's okay to lead. The moment you trust yourself,